Good morning, this is Jeff Kohler from the optionaddict.blogspot.com, here to go over a couple chart patterns that I'm finding for Tuesday the 4th, 2007. I'm going to get started with, why don't we start with some home builders. I'm going to look at TOL specifically. And the reason I'm doing that is you'll see that a lot of these home builders are starting to form a little bit of support. Toll Brothers, you can see we've got a support area at about $21 per share. Yet the highs keep on falling lower. Now, I still think it's early to call a lot of these descending triangles, but I want you to watch them over the next few weeks because I think they stabilize, but eventually they're going to break lower. And that support level that they're forming, TOL specifically at 21, once that falls, I think that's a great opportunity to get long some puts. Next, I'm going to talk about BJ Services, ticker symbol BJS. And this is one that we looked at last week, but it continues to hold up pretty well. Support down here at 24, looking for that to break. And as soon as that does, we'll take the stock on about a $3 ride to the downside. Next, I'm going to look at Kellogg's, but I'm only going to do so very quickly. It's not the world's most volatile stock. Therefore, I don't think I'll be doing much trading in it. But I want you to notice there's a nice little symmetrical triangle that's forming here. Maybe even ascending triangle, depending on how you draw that line. Either way, the stock's got about a 3-point movement to the upside. I'm thinking it's probably going to end up breaking resistance at about 55. And once it does that, you can expect the stock to go for about a $2 to $3 move. It's great if you're long the stock. It's not the greatest thing if you're an options trader. You need a little bit more movement than that. But from the side of price patterns that I want you to see, we've got a pretty good triangle forming here in Kellogg's. Next, Garmin. If you're not long some Garmin, I don't think it's a bad idea to be anticipatory here. You've got resistance at 105. You've got support going as low as about 88, which means we've got about a $13 movement to the upside once it breaks. And I think it's easy to manage risk here because I think support is going to be right down at about the $100 range. So right now you can see we've opened up about another $2 here. I'm in this trade for about the last 3 days. And, well, not including the weekend. But I think it's going to be only a matter of time before it breaks 105. So keep an eye on this. We're looking for about a 13-point movement to the upside, which puts the stock at about 118. And I think that's easily achievable. Next, I'm looking at COG. Stock's found some support down here at about 31.5. And at the same time, the highs keep falling lower. So we've got a descending triangle here. But here I don't want to touch this until it breaks 31.5. And at that point, we've got about a 3.5-point movement to the downside, pushing the stock into the high 20s. Next, diodes, ticker symbol DIOD. This is one we've been watching. We got a breakout as of Friday and a little more continuation to the upside. I think this thing will take at least 6 to 8 weeks to finally hit its price target, and its price target is 34. So I'll mark that up here. We'll revisit that in a couple of months and see what it's done. Next, Grant Prideco, GRP. And got this one drawn out. That's pretty close enough. But we moved outside of resistance on Friday, albeit not on the best amount of volume. In fact, I'll quit hiding my volume from you. Volume is rising, but it's definitely still in a lull from where it normally is on average historically. Although if we take recent average volume, you can see we're slightly above it, and I'm taking maybe the last 10 days max. So I don't think the stock's going to have too hard of a time reaching its highs here at 60, which is about its price target based on how wide we've got this thing drawn. Next, I've got MIDD, Middleby Corporation. And if you look close, you'll see kind of a slight ascending triangle going on here with about a $7 price target. No breakout as of yet. In fact, this one, I don't know, looking at the volume here, it's still very, very low. However, watch for a break of about 73, 74 with better than average volume. And that's going to be a pretty good trading signal to push this thing out of a short-term ascending triangle or kind of an intermediate-term cup and handle. Next, PSA. And I'm watching this for kind of a bottoming formation. It's failed to want to go down anymore. So now what I've done is I'm kind of watching it for a little bit of a recovery here. Once it breaks above 78, and it does so with some pretty good volume, I'm thinking this might be kind of a triple bottom or some kind of a trend reversal. And that's definitely been the case here. I spent Monday evening, the holiday, looking through about 2,000 stocks, and I'm noticing a lot of bullish formations out there. In fact, out of my entire watch list here, I've got probably about a half dozen bearish ideas. So be careful. I think there's a little bit of a bullish tone in a lot of these stocks that are going on out there. In fact, that's going to lead me to IYM, Basic Materials, and I want you to take note of this inverse head and shoulders formation. And I'm going to call on the line chart to give us a really good example of this, but here we've got a neckline, and you can see we're right on that. And this is Basic Materials, and this goes out into all kinds of stocks. We're talking, let's go CENX, take a look at aluminum. You'll see the same formation going on here. Let's go to Nucor, NUE. Maybe we'll see a little bit of a reversal in steel. I'm going to look at HXM. Kind of on a sloping line here, still working on that shoulder. How about WCC? You see it's still got a little bit of a shoulder left to form here, but that's okay. Look at MLM. It's one I've been following for ages. Stopped going down. Looks like it wants to start going up now. FCX. Little inverse head and shoulders going on here. CNX, Consolidated Energy. Got one going here. BGC, General Cable, going on through here. So I'm seeing this pattern everywhere. I want you to keep an eye out for it. In fact, now we're talking head and shoulders patterns. I want to go back to Fastenal. You can see that we're still waiting for that to break through support. If the market tends to be a little more bullish, we might not see that. So make sure you wait for that signal, a break below support with some volume. JCOM. No breakout out of this symmetrical triangle yet, but it looks like it's bouncing off support and working its way towards resistance as we speak. CBE, triple bottom. Looking at that right here. Signal's going to be a break of about 52 with some pretty good volume, and I'll be looking to get into a trade here. NYX, that's been on the list for quite a while. We'll keep it there. Got a nice descending triangle formed. Monster, MNST. Support going on at about 32.5. The highs continue to fall. So we've got a little bit of a descending triangle here, but I think it takes a little bit longer to form. So stay tuned on this one. We go next to TNB. Symmetrical triangle going on here. No breakout yet, but 55 is kind of that level. We want to see which way it breaks. And once it does, we'll be looking for about a 5-point movement, depending on which direction it moves. We go to GDI. Getting pretty close on time here, so this is a little bit early on still, but I'm watching this for a symmetrical triangle. Looking for a breakout here. Kicking back and waiting for a signal. ARTC. Ascending triangle. No breakout yet. Wait for a breakout of above 56. Looking for about a 5-point movement here as well. Barnes. We've got a triangle, albeit right off of some highs. I wouldn't call this a downtrend yet, but it looks like we might get a move on this one either way, so I'm just watching it. Last but not least, for chart patterns, I'm looking at FCN, and you'll have to look really closely at this one. I'm not going to have the time to zoom in and look all that closely, but just a 5-point move to the upside once it breaks 52.5 should be a good one. Anyway, so that's my chart patterns for the week. That's what I came up with in about an hour's worth of research last night. It's a few things to keep your eye on. I do want you to watch for this inverse head and shoulders pattern. It's popping up all over the place, albeit not confirmed, and albeit we don't have a lot of volume yet. So we'll see how market volume ends up after the holiday here. Maybe we might see some better volume confirmations, but hopefully we'll have a good week here on the blog. And if you guys have any questions, you know where to find me. Take care. Bye-bye.